Welcome back, listeners, to the brighter side of blue. Coming to you live on video from the Blue Line Technology Studios. Our first sponsor, Tommy. I'm Danny.
I'm Tommy.
I'm JJ.
Hey, JJ.
Hey, buddy.
Doing good?
They got to see it, and now I don't know how we're going to cut that, but they finally get to see what goes on before every show
with
the
impatient
music
JJ.
playing. Right.
Impatient JJ.
I've been known to be impatient.
Really, we see that. Yeah. We see that. Hey, we're not going to prolong this. 351 cities, 9 countries. We're on every continent except Asia.
Wow.
We need some help.
Might be a language barrier.
No. They got us. We got subtitles. We got stuff coming the way they get. But how do we get merch to those people in those countries, JJ?
Oh, heck. I guess that's my job to tell you right now. So I got a list of things I got to talk about.
How to support the show.
First, I got a list of 5 things.
Nope.
It says buy merch. Link is on our social media. So anytime you go on and you see our little icon, if you go down to the episode and you go down and you just kind of scale down, you'll see the word more. It's highlighted in dark. Hit the more. It'll open up our link for merch. And
right.
People aren't figuring that out. I had Detective Rudolph come to me today and say, I want to buy merch, but I'm like, we explain it to some of these guys, they just don't figure it out.
It's in the description of the show.
And you just put the more, there's a little black more on there, and you just hit it, and it'll open up and you can just get on there and
then you
merch.
click on that, and then it'll give you the whole thing, baby.
Okay, we also need you to do, number 2, like and share the shorts, the podcasts, and the videos. That'll help us. And 3, subscribe to YouTube and hit that little bell, and you can write Tommy on my own.
You're on it, baby. Come on now.
Yeah, you do.
Come on now.
Subscribe to that, and then 4, tell your friends. It's so important to share on your Facebook and everything. Just share, and then number 5 is repeat the first 4 things I just said.
There you go.
Oh,
look at JJ.
Yeah.
He got instructions written down the whole bit.
Man, I can go on this.
Let's go, baby.
Good job, JJ. We had to get it. 351 cities. And our first sponsor. Yeah, he's a pitch man.
Thanks.
Yeah. And you guys look, I mean, you got your merch on there. Look at that.
It's smooth.
Come on now.
It is. I'd like it to be slim fit.
If I'd known you were wearing that, though, I would have worn
I was
going
gonna
to
put the hat on.
Not this. So we kind of look kind of dorky having the same shirt.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know that you need to wear the same shirt for that, but
Well, I'm not going to say nothing about his long neck or nothing.
Hey, Tommy. Tommy.
yes.
I feel like I'm like kind of Danny Downer sometimes on producer John, but we have to let our listeners know that we've hired.
Family's growing, baby.
Yeah, we've hired producer John a boss.
Yep.
Yeah, he's no longer can be rogue, coming up with these crazy ideas.
Yep.
It's kind of just he's going to be under control now because we hired an executive producer, and he's from a police family.
Yes, he is.
And he's now producer John's boss.
Dan thought it was a good idea to replace producer John.
No, you're not being replaced. You're being controlled, okay? We're chipping you. Like the dogs, we're chipping you. We're going to know where you're at, what you're doing, when you're on newsroom.com, and when you're out wearing your New Balance with the new blue jean short pockets.
The new guy and I have.
You're out of control, John.
We have an understanding it'll be fine.
We haven't even introduced the new guy yet.
But
you can't have an understanding with him yet.
The other thing is that, which is amazing, is I don't know that it's amazing, but well over half of our audience is female. So not only did we hire an executive producer to be John's boss,
but he looks like a young
24
Arnold
years old.
Schwarzenegger. I just watched that documentary. He looks like the young Arnold. Seriously, he's got pipes. It's for our listeners over in the warm countries in Australia, because it's 102 right now. In St. Louis, it's nasty cold right now, and our new executive producer came in like the shortest T-shirt I've ever seen with his pipes ripping.
We are not beyond pimping for clicks.
No, we're not.
We are not beyond that at all. We will pimp for clicks. All of it. We got Huggy already. Huggy can be the pimp.
Yeah.
Huggy will be the pimp. If you want to know how to get a hold of Jack Milliken, you get a hold of Huggy, and Huggy will arrange the meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have a girlfriend?
No girlfriend right now.
Well,
Hey, I'll tell you what, I'm on the market though. So
you are.
Yeah.
You're in the market. All right, Jack. All right. Well, welcome to the brighter side of blue family.
But before we get into that, we do our family of the week every week, and this week we are going to do the Milliken. He's part of our family, and Jack's part of our family.
Okay.
He was never a policeman, but his father, Scott, was a policeman, and his uncle Brian was a policeman, and his great-grandfather Johnny Rooney was a policeman from 1925 to 1952.
Holy cow!
And he retired as a sergeant, and he was a Vietnam vet. He was a war hero.
Wow.
He was in Vietnam in 1952.
Yeah.
Well, he got there. He was a scout.
He
was a scout.
I think I meant World War One, right?
World War One.
Yeah,
well, you said Vietnam.
Everybody understood what I meant, right? No,
producer John.
now.
Good catch, John. Good catch. History buff, John.
Yes. See, you're already making brownie points with your boss. So, but I want to elaborate just a little bit more on the Milliken family. Is like I said, Jack's father, Scott, was a policeman for about 5 years and got his undergraduate degree while he was a policeman and went on to law school. And then is currently now a judge in the 22nd Judicial District of Missouri. And
he should have stayed
he's a great dude.
Very good guy.
He should have stayed a policeman.
Yeah, that's that was bad. Yeah, that's real good.
That's dumb.
But then also his brother or his uncle Brian Milliken also did about 5 years on and did what his older brother did and did the undergraduate thing and moved on to his own law what would you call office? Opened up his own law business.
Law firm.
Yes, law firm. Thanks, Dan. I was only looking for that 5 seconds ago. But he now represents a bunch of police officers. He works for the St. Louis Police Officers Association. Not solely, but that's one of his jobs, and he protects the police out there, and we all very much appreciate that. And I could have used him back in the day when I threw that purse away.
He couldn't have helped you.
No,
I have his cell phone.
Right.
For my guys. We've had to call him a few times.
And Brian was in the Spanish-American War.
Okay, here we go. Why don't you just leave it to where it was? You got me the first time. Just leave it.
Hey, but so everything's 2 degrees of me, right? Let's talk about me right now.
Yeah.
Both of your dad and your uncle were in the 7th district when I was in the 8th district, so we saw them all the time. And
Brian was in the 3rd, dude.
Which one was in the 7th?
Scotty, his dad.
They both weren't in the 7th?
No.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's why we don't kick it to you that often.
Yeah, that's why we just kind of let you read things.
We came in about the same time. We were in the department about the same time.
But now that we've introduced the Milliken family as the family of the week, we'd like to hear from you, Jack. And what can our listeners expect? Now that we're videotaping stuff, and what are you bringing to the table there for our listeners, baby?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, first off, about my uncle and my dad, they made me a cynical bastard, so there aren't a lot of guys that I look up to, but those are 2 guys that I definitely look up to in my life.
Mentors.
Good.
But now that we got some video, man, you can catch us on the social media. We're gonna have some clips of this, with Jen's episode that we just did. It's you're gonna be seeing a lot more of you guys, the pretty faces around here, and
Danny.
smiling faces. Danny, you probably look the youngest here, and
thanks.
Oh man,
we'll talk about that contract.
No,
no way. I'm like 5 years younger than all of you people.
So,
just doesn't look it. I've rode this body pretty hard.
Yeah, that's but yeah, you're gonna be seeing a lot more, and now that it's on video, you can see it spread out across a lot of places like YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and all the good stuff. So.
Right, they need to get on YouTube, right? Yep. That's where a lot of our little clips will be.
Yep, get it
shorts,
on YouTube.
And then we're going to do some videos too. And I know you're not going to do the videos, but we're going to introduce Wesley here shortly, who is also part of our new part of our team, videographer. But again, we just thank you for it. It fits so many different ways with you being from a police family and now you're part of our family, and we really look forward to working with you, Jack.
Me as well. I'm excited to be here.
All right,
Jack,
brother.
Thanks.
And then now that he's producer John's boss for sure.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that. You kind of ramble. You're like you don't even take a breath between those sentences right there. So
I'm on a roll, baby.
Yeah, I know you're on a roll. So, hey, you didn't have long to meet producer John yet, and really talk things out, but. A couple things. What are your plans with him? How do you plan to keep him under control?
We're gonna implement timesheets for producer John and just make sure he's getting here on time. And
that's a genius.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
So
Good luck with that.
I would keep him. Something about the that newsroom.com that he's on. We need to. That's like a porn site for him.
Yeah, I know. Man. It is. He hasn't been the same since he's found this newsroom.com thing. So.
They actually found your 2 stories about your great grandfather, Johnny Rooney, on there that I shared with your father. And
Let's
I
make
think
this
Wesley
happen.
he found out he was going to go on camera.
yeah,
I think he might have left.
Yeah.
Oh,
left?
there he is.
It's hard to follow up Jack.
Now, listen, Wesley
Jack
is.
Schwarzenegger. I'll be back.
Hey, he's my nephew. He's a little. I don't know
Come on,
if he's going to
switch
be shy or
seats.
not. I'm
Switch
curious
seats,
on
come
how
on.
he does.
Is Wesley my boss too?
He could be.
Holy shit!
He knows.
AJ, go ahead.
JJ, introduce our
nephew.
videographer.
This is my nephew, and then we brought him in a while ago, and he's been doing great videos. And I got to tell you, Wes, Tom Sawyer thinks that you are the best video photographer he's ever seen. Probably the only one he's ever seen. But he's like,
He does
he has
some
told
cool
me
stuff,
numerous
man.
times, man, your cousin, your nephew is talented. Your nephew is
He's
talented.
no joke. He's
Yeah.
got skills.
I like it.
So he's also got a drone.
That's just he's got half of my blood.
Wes
in
has
him.
got a drone.
He's got a drone. He's got his license. Look at it, and he's huge. Look at the size of the dude. Stays in the gym.
He doesn't even work out. That's weird.
So
Do
so
Wes and
what-
Jack eat
Yeah.
I don't.
ever? Like eat? You guys are both
Okay.
ripped. I mean, I guess
I've had
look like that.
4 meals today.
You had 4 meals today.
Yeah.
What were they? Can you tell us?
I had a breakfast sandwich.
From where?
I had 5 pieces of turkey bacon, 2 eggs, an English muffin, and then I had a protein shake with frozen strawberries, peanut butter, and protein. And then I had a double cheeseburger. And then I had a cup of rice, mahi, and...
I'm gonna come across this table on your ass right now.
No, so you do work out.
Yes, every day.
Pretty dedicated to it.
So
He looks
that leads
like it.
into our On the Streets, and Jack's going to be our videographer on the Streets. And so he'll be out there with
Wes. This is Wes.
I'm sorry. What did I call him?
You call him Jack.
I'm sorry. My son's name is Jack, too.
You didn't call my nephew Jack off?
Oh my
What?
God.
Now, here we go. He had to just insert all that.
Oh, sorry.
No, but on the streets. So producer John and I will be on the streets with Wes, and we will be doing certain little things. And by the time this particular episode airs, we will have done our first, which is going to be in a couple days here, and we're looking forward to that. And as you guys can see, the size of Wes is he's going to be our less than lethal option on the street. If they get by Wes, John and I will have to resort to more lethal force.
Running.
I doubt anybody wants to
Shooting
get
back,
you.
shooting from the back. Yeah. And so we're looking forward to that. And Wes, we would like you to, and you have your own business. And what is your business name?
My name is Wesley Davis. I'm a videographer and photographer from the St. Louis area. I help business owners create content for their business that elevates their brand and tells their unique story.
Yeah. And then you're going to help us do that too, right?
Yep.
And that's why we're on. And again, how can they support the show, Jimmy? You want to do your? No, you're not going to go through that
Going
again.
through,
Just
yeah.
buy merch.
Actually,
Right now,
Jack
just buy
did it
merch.
too, so,
right?
I mean,
No, I was just
buy-
giving them to you.
oh.
No,
What?
I just wanted you to say something about your nephew.
Oh, I thought you said. Go through.
I was.
No, he's a good kid. He does well, and he was just happy to join us, I think.
You caught JJ totally off guard, and me a little bit too.
Jesus Christ. He throws me these out of
Here, listen.
left field
Listen,
stuff. I
JJ
just
had
wanna sit
2
here and-
things to do for
Listen,
the whole
right.
show.
I'm
He
done.
did them, and then you just threw him a curveball like
I
that.
still got one more.
I hear
I'm
you.
still.
The look on his
Right.
face was pure
All right.
panic. Pure panic.
All
Well,
right,
Wesley,
let's go on.
welcome to the family.
Well, Wesley,
you are part of
welcome.
the police family too, so that's awesome. And on with the show we go.
Hopefully you guys can get me out of some more speeding tickets.
Hey, listen.
Oh, don't
hey,
speed. Don't
Wes,
speed.
I don't want to say you thought it was a good idea the time I had to come out and get you with the tow truck. We won't talk about that story.
No,
Okay.
I
that's
just
good.
paid off my last speeding ticket yesterday, so
See,
Stop speeding.
Hey, slow it down.
You got all
Slow
the
it down.
Mustangs and stuff. I saw you. What do you got? A Charger?
the Hellcat, yeah.
That leads itself.
My uncle's favorite car.
You need to get a truck.
Yeah, you need to get like a Malibu or some shit.
No, you need to get a truck
Okay.
so they can borrow it.
Listen to your uncle. He's full of good advice.
Yeah.
No, he's talking about getting a truck. He has.
All right.
He hasn't grown. All
What
right.
do we got next,
Welcome
Danny?
aboard.
I know
Well-
you got a whole list of shit you wanted to get to.
So, Tommy, we've had a lot of great feedback from the transformed JJ and his Zen moments.
Yes.
And how it's calmed him and calmed everybody
It
on the
hasn't
show.
calmed me at all. I just read a quote last week, and you guys make
It didn't mean anything to you?
It was cool. That's why I read it. But now you make me have a Zen moment. So I don't know how zenny I am, but I'm going to read another one.
You know, it's not all about you. You're very zenny.
Do it for the listeners.
All right, I got a.
Actually, Michael from JJ to Zenny, that's a pretty catchy name. Zen.
Give us this
Zenny?
week's Zenny, but
listen.
I need it to. Oh wait, I need it to be a good one because it has to set up a terrible thing that Tommy's going to try to fix in our community.
PSA.
PSA.
All right.
So
You
give us
have
your
PSA?
Zen moment.
I'm not so sure how it's going to set that up, but because I'm doing this Zen, all of a sudden I'm seeing these different quotes are just coming out of nowhere for me. It's like weird. So I'm on Facebook and I'm looking through Facebook, and a guy, somebody's talking to me. The flag just fell. Ed Mesplace, kid I went to high school with, he posted this on Facebook, and it was one of my favorite sayings that I've had for a long time. I forgot about it, and he just kind of popped it out of nowhere. So I'm going to read it. It's more of a philosophy than it is Zen, and I love the Zen music. Really, it's great. It's
Throwing them off, too.
So here it goes. I'm just going to read it. It says, life's journey is not to arrive at the grave safely in a well-preserved body, but rather to skid in sideways, totally worn out, shouting, holy shit, what a ride.
Oh, I'm down.
Now, have you guys heard this before?
No,
I've
that's
heard this a
awesome.
long time ago.
I have heard that.
It just popped out of nowhere. Ed Mesplay went to high school.
One more
with him.
time. One more time. Seriously.
Hold on.
One more time. Yeah, one more time.
Oh, man.
Please, because that was really deep.
Oh.
6 feet.
Life,
heard it. I'm
yeah,
down.
it's more of a philosophy, but life's journey is not to arrive at the grave safely in a well-preserved body, which none of us have here, but rather to skid in sideways, totally worn out, shouting, holy shit, what a ride.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I'm not sure
Try to
that's
live by that.
I'm not sure that's going to
Zen.
transition in the Zen moment to what you need to clean up with our community.
PSA. And that finally.
That flag.
See, the Zen is
flag
not happy
finally-
with us right now.
No.
The flag finally went down.
Mobile Reserve is not Zen.
Yeah, they are not Zen.
No.
For the audience that's not listening or not watching on video, our flag of the Mobile Reserve that was given to JJ by his boys.
And they asked me to
It's just
post it
tumbled
up.
down. But it'll
Keep
be up.
stumbling on it. We'll get it.
The next
we'll get
episode,
fan.
we're going to make sure that,
And hey,
thing's up good.
my boys are using the word hots now.
See?
And there we go. It's progress.
good. Yes. That right there.
Progress.
Perfect.
Hots.
Perfect.
After roll call, I always say, let's go get some hots. And they were like, we're down. Let's get some hots. At first, I think they thought they were going to get some hot plates or something.
I love it.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Tommy was crazy driving out here today. It was raining.
Any road
dark.
rage?
There's a lot of road rage and a lot of improper use of
The horn.
the horn.
Horn etiquette.
Horn etiquette. is
So,
important.
here we go with our second. So we've
PSA.
got the dogs chip, right?
Right.
We've been working on that relentlessly. So that's our first public service announcement. Now we're going to try to stop road rage, and we're going to have our listeners help us out. Because, bumper stickers on stop road rage, that's not going to stop road rage when you just read a bumper sticker that says, you got to get to the root cause of road rage.
The
If, you,
root
if you're
cause.
reading that bumper sticker, you're probably too damn close to that car anyway. So you're
Yeah,
probably mad
exactly.
about something.
The root cause of road rage. Come on.
Horn etiquette. So you got to know how to give the horn, and you have to know how to receive the horn.
I'm 100%
Big,
with this.
big. I mean, it is a big. See, and then nobody trains themselves to do this. So it takes training to stop road rage. You just, like I said, bumper sticker ain't gonna work. So 90% of all road rage incidents start somewhere. And it's in the horn's there, and how they gave the horn and how they received the horn. Now all kinds of stuff happens from there. Correct?
Correct.
Can you
Producer
guys
John,
see
do you have a
that?
horn? Do you have a horn on there?
Oh no.
No.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for coming. You will. We'll talk to your boss.
Hey, if you can believe it or not, when I zone out at a stoplight and someone beeps the horn because it's green and I'm not paying attention,
Yep.
I always give them a wave.
Right.
But they
See,
hit that,
that's how-
they blast that horn.
There
and
we go.
I'm
See, here we
go.
Oh, man.
See, here
I
we
get
go.
so
now
mad.
everybody can
Oh.
think of this.
A little
So
half
the
honk
I'm mad
is
now just
acceptable.
thinking about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Just a little tap. And
Just
I
a
give
tap.
the old wave in the mirror. Like, hey,
Right. Because
I
everybody's
got you,
guilty,
buddy. I'm
right?
sorry.
Everybody's guilty
Right.
of it.
Everybody.
So that's a particular horn etiquette right there.
Exactly.
That is the thumbs up, the nod, the wave. If you've screwed up, if you backed out of a parking space and somebody gives you the horn, just acknowledge the fact that you screwed up and move on. I think, but then that aggressive horn,
can't do the
excessive horn usage
No.
is where it breaks down.
Exactly.
Because now, even
horn
though
with attitude,
right, you can't do that.
Can't do it.
So when you're now after the incident, so luckily the horn in this particular, let's just say it stops an accident. You can't continue on as the horn giver, but as the horn taker, you have to, like we just said, you have to give the acknowledgement that you screwed up, right?
Yeah.
But then if they keep doing the aggressive thing, now the horn giver who has done the right thing by acknowledging that they've screwed up, now they become an aggressor too, right?
100%.
So now you got a whole incident going on.
You got road rage on. That's how it starts.
Each other. Yeah, you can't. All you have to do is nobody leaves their house. I promise you. Bad drivers are like stupid people. They don't know it. They don't leave their house wanting
Is that a Zen moment?
No.
Nobody leaves their house going, man, I'm going to get in an accident. So things happen. So whoever made you honk, they didn't mean it. They made it. It was just incidental, whatever. They switched over. They guided into another lane. They're not paying attention. And again, how you give that honk and what you do afterwards, there's no reason to flip anybody off. There's no reason to get mad.
Sometimes there's.
I'm going to take it a step further. I say we abolish the horn. Quit making it. What's the purpose of the horn? What is the purpose of it?
People pull in front of you. On the highway when they start leaning over, it's like fading over.
A horn? No, you flash the lights at
I
them.
think there should be like
crazy.
You should have like a horn usage.
A horn governor.
A usage thing. Like you only get like 30 seconds a month on the horn.
You guys are both crazy.
Maybe that's even
and
excessive.
First of all, how long are we going to talk about this fucking horn?
There we go.
But listen to me. I'd like to say that 99% of all horn usage worldwide is inappropriate.
I think the horn causes more damage than it saves.
Exactly. That's why I want to abolish the horn.
Totally disagree. A little tap on the horn helps you. Helps you a lot. And again, and they're cool.
It helps you get to the light, through the light, in a tenth of a second sooner, just because somebody tapped their horn.
Everybody in a hurry.
Fading over because they're not paying attention. They kind of get in your lane, and so you got to give them a little horn.
Well, then they don't know which way they're out of the bounds.
They know. And they just go right back. You can't get rid of the horn. There's a safety thing.
What if a pack of dogs runs in front of your car? What do?
You stop, and you tell them to go home.
Or do you just hit the horn?
You can do that.
And then chip them.
Hey, let's get back to the dog. I have two stories on dogs.
Okay.
Both I was in peril.
Okay.
And both times I mentioned that I had a pistol on me.
Yeah.
I want to get it straight. I am a dog lover. I love dogs. I love my dog. I would never shoot a dog. I'd rather the dog bite me before I'd shoot it.
I
don't know about that, but I would never have shot any of these dogs in my scenarios that I said, but I would have probably cracked one in the ground if need be. But just letting you know that I'm not, I should never mention the gun on me when I said the dogs were trying to attack me. Is that clear?
Okay, all right.
Just saying.
You're a dog lover, and that's why we're chipping our dogs.
All I had was the pistol for, kind of like dramatic effect.
Okay, I got you.
I would never have used it.
I say we abolish the horn. I know you can't do it, but
chip your dogs.
It causes more problems because horns have attitude. A little slight beep. That's a polite horn.
You go.
But then you have to train your mind to do that. So now that everybody knows, and then our listeners can tell people, hey, it's all about how you use the horn. It's the giving and the taking of the horn. Everybody just chill the fuck out.
I agree.
Sorry to use that word.
Hey, John. They start rambling too long. You play that music, kind of
play that funky music, John boy.
All right.
Play that funky music, John boy. All
right.
But as this was our first episode on video, and we've already shot the Jennifer Williams thing, which was
detective, retired sergeant.
Retired sergeant, but that was one of the. You guys are going to enjoy this one. We had a lot of fun with Jennifer, and we always say we're going to have guests back, but she would be awesome to have back.
She was a natural.
She was great.
Wait till you hear her laugh.
I didn't notice it.
You didn't notice her laugh?
She had a funny laugh.
It was just unique. It was unbelievably unique.
I tell you what, she was a natural. She did a great job.
We had a lot of fun. So
it was a great story.
Hope you guys enjoy our interview with Jennifer that is following this silliness. And See you next week.
Peace out.
Peace.
Watch your horn.
Kind of excited about our guest tonight.
Yep.
Sergeant Jen Williams, retired St. Louis County PD after 33 years.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks for coming out on a rainy St. Louis night.
Of course, I'm honored.
Hey, I appreciate you coming out. So we got a hold of you through JJ's Connect, right?
Right.
JJ?
Yes. A county officer named Emily Gillian. It's a friend of mine on Facebook. I know her from the city county soccer teams that she plays on. We go on trips all the time to different places in the country. She reached out and said, I have a friend that's a retired sergeant. Her name is Jennifer Williams, and she has good story, and she can tell all kinds of good stories, she said. And so I reached out to her, Jennifer, and she told us South County Rapist story, and she'll take it, I guess.
Before Jen was a sergeant, you were in crime against
I'm sorry, I'm
people?
thrown off. I thought this was the Legends series.
You're just right after that.
We'll decide whether you're a legend or not.
You're working your way up.
We'll make that decision.
Have a good
We'll make
story.
that decision
I
later.
like that. I like it. I like your style already.
My
You're,
bad. No, thank you to Emily. She thinks the story is interesting. Before I was promoted, I was a detective in our Crimes Against Persons division for
Yep.
St. Louis County, assigned to the sexual assault unit. So it had homicide, robbery, and sexual assault, and then we had the family crime of domestic violence and child abuse. But sex crimes was my quote-unquote specialty.
law enforcement wise.
Law enforcement wise, yeah, it's not a profession.
And before you get started, Jen, I'd like to hear, you have a daughter?
I do. My daughter, Tori, she's 34 years old, and she is a county police officer also. She works in North County.
Because we're big on family here.
How long has she been
We
on?
always like to hear about your family.
Just over 10 years, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to say something
Congratulations.
about Emily. Said your laugh is worth having you in here. So
Emily's on my list. I'm going to probably go to her
she
house
said her
after
stories
this.
might suck, but you'll love her laugh.
Emily's a slip snitch.
You know what? She's actually a very, very funny and witty person. So
We'll be the decision makers on that.
that's true. No, my daughter is, I did everything in my power to not get her hired, to blackball her. I jokingly say that. Ed Vitt, I think, was mentioned. He's one of our old drug guys. He was,
Oh boy, I remember Ed Vitt.
yeah.
Play softball with him?
Ed did her background, and he called me and asked me, I got to ask you about your daughter getting hired. And I said, well, I don't think women should be police officers. He said, Jennifer, please. And we went back and forth. And of course, I'm so proud of my daughter. It scares me.
You have a foster son?
I do. I have a 20-year-old foster son who's sophomore at Missouri Valley, plays football.
Oh, wow.
And I have a 17-year-old son who's a junior at Lindbergh.
Cool. Very cool.
Hell of a volleyball player. Very
Very
proud
cool.
of him too. So
I always like to get the family members mentioned before the main story.
I love it.
Are they going to be future police officers also?
no,
we'll
neither
see.
one of the boys.
We'll see.
I think have it in them.
I didn't think my son was interested in it. He's been 11 years on the
Yeah,
department.
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised. My daughter's always been the courageous
Yeah.
Good.
one. So yeah.
Does she love it?
She does. She actually loves it. She loves being up in North County. She loves being busy. She's on the ERT, which for St. Louis County is the emergency response team. Responds to
Cool.
those riots, protests, calls out, stuff like that.
All the fun stuff.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she's a good kid.
Tell us about the rapist you caught.
Let's get to it. So we're going to have to go back 24 years. So a little bit background of the cases that we had. Detective Nancy Cadenhead, rest in peace, had a burglary assault in December of '99 in an apartment complex in the area of Butler Hill Road and 55. We actually have 4 apartment complexes down there. I think they were like Brandy Station, Canyon Creek, Oak Brook, and Summit Knoll. So we had a lot of apartments all in one area. And she had a woman early in the morning getting out of the shower, comes across a man in her house. He hits her in the head with a wine bottle. She's fighting him. She actually gets away from him and locks herself in her bedroom. Back then, technology wasn't what it was, but she was online trying to email people for help. Realizing that wasn't working, she crawled out the window, running across the parking lot, screaming for help. So that incident happens. In January of 2000, I get a call to the Oakbrook Gardens Apartments, same area. This was a home invasion rape, and this was my call, so I can talk a little bit more about this incident. The victim said that she woke up to a man standing over her bed. He was wearing a ski mask. He put a pillow over her head, threatened to kill her. Afterwards, he made her shower. She did something that was pretty courageous, is when she was in the bathroom, she urinated in a cup that she had in the bathroom. I think it was like a toothbrush cup or whatever.
Wow.
Set it aside.
She hid it behind the toilet, thinking that she was preserving evidence. And he left. And in that situation, it ended up that her roommate, who was a nurse, had left early to go exercise. It was January's cold, so she went through the sliding glass door to get to her car. So she didn't lock the sliding glass door, and that's where the suspect had entered into the apartment. So I'm working this case. Don't know if Detective Cadenhead's connected. Don't know really, much, except for trying my damnedest to follow up on things. And actually, the victim worked out here in the Fenton area, and she was receiving very disturbing sexual harassment, anonymous phone calls, the heavy breathing, the whatever. A lot of things taking us in different directions trying to follow up on the investigation. And then in May of 2000, Detective Matt O'Neill, who was on the other squad, had another apartment home invasion rape. And this one was in the Summit Knoll apartments. And this victim was asleep on the couch when she woke up to the suspect. I think she tried to claim that she had gonorrhea, something to keep him, but he still sexually assaulted her. So now we're kind of all, let's work this together. Now. We've got three, okay. And they're very similar. They're all in the same area. And back then, DNA, our crime lab wasn't taking them, St. Louis County Crime Lab, so everything was going to the state. So it was a lot slower, the process.
It took forever.
Forever.
Now, you didn't have a sex crimes division at the time?
I was in sex crimes.
You were in sex crimes?
I was, that was me.
I thought you were just straight.
No, JJ stepped out at that point when you were talking to him back.
I zoned out a little bit.
That's right. Hey, welcome back.
It's okay. It's okay. So as we're trying to piece this all together, we get a phone call in June from a Detective Chris Coyne with the Troy, Illinois Police Department. And he says he's got a DNA match from one of our cases. So Illinois got their crap back faster than we did. So we invite him, and he tells us, hey, look, Glen Carbon, Illinois, also had something similar, and we think it's connected. So I think, and I'm going to look at my notes it looks like Troy's was in 99, that their rape was the first one that had happened.
Right.
And then June was Glen Carbon's. So right when we were starting this kind of task force thing is when Glen Carbon's hit. So by July, we've got this task force. We're all working together. We're trying to figure out what we have. We don't know if it's a black male, white male. We just know that it's a male. Back up a little bit. Troy tells us, no, our victim saw the suspect. It's a black male. Okay, well, that helps a little bit because DNA didn't tell us that. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know what it tells, but it didn't tell us that.
Right.
So we've got the task force. We're working together. In August, we kind of kept this hush-hush, and I want to kind of explain that we didn't want to scare off our suspect, but we also wanted to protect the citizens of the community. So we had the apartment complexes put out safety flyers.
Right.
Notifying them, hey, contact us if there's anything going on. And the management knew what was going on.
Excuse me. So the media never got involved in this?
Correct.
And how many rapes deep are we right now?
At this point, we're 4 solid, 1 attempt. So 5. So we put this out to the apartment complexes. They put out safety notifications. In August, a woman who lives in the Summit Knoll apartments, her boyfriend lives in the same apartment complex, and Summit Knoll is huge. It's a massive complex. And so where her apartment is from where her boyfriend's apartment is complete opposite ends of the complex. She was at her boyfriend's this night. And she said that she let out the dog, and about 4 a.m. she ran into a suspicious black male. And he was very polite and asked if she had seen his dog. And she thought it was weird because he didn't have a leash, didn't have anything indicating he was really looking for a dog. So she reported it to the manager. Detective Matt O'Neill then went and spoke with her to get more information. And she said, hey, I don't want that apartment anymore. I'm not going to that apartment anymore. You guys can use that apartment. Well, I had already tried. I'd gone through our Captain Glenn, who was our drug captain at the time, about trying to get a HUD apartment to set something up. Just trying to think outside the box. And the commander, my commander at the time, denied this request.
You can say his name.
No, sir. And so Matt O'Neill then comes and says, hey, you're on days, go back to the commander, see if you can't get this chick's offering up her apartment. I go back, he says no. I report back to Matt. Matt and his supervisor go in and they get a yes. Okay. And the yes was that Matt and I could do this one night a week for 4 weeks. And that was it. 8-hour shift.
Wasn't that Belmar that gave you the okie doke?
Yes.
Okay.
So we were then committed to, we got one night a week for a month to do this in this woman's apartment. We had narrowed it down to most of the rapes were happening, I guess, on Wednesday and Thursday mornings. So I think the first one we did on a Thursday. And Matt would drop me off because we didn't know if these women were being watched. We didn't know what was happening. So we kind of had to put on a whole show, if you would. And so I would walk around the apartment. He would drop me off in his truck, and I'd walk around with the doors locked, but blinds open, turning on lights, just kind of making myself seen. And then I would shut everything down, sneak him in, unlock the doors, and go to bed. And I was always wearing my police gear under my pajamas. Nothing sexy about it. It was pajama pants and a sweatshirt and slippers. And it does come into play. And that was probably a poor choice. I didn't feel right laying in this woman's bed with my tennis shoes on. So the first night I laid in her bed, nothing happened. It's very hard with just you and your thoughts.
Right.
All night. Right. All night. And
for TikTok?
Yeah, there was no smartphones. There was none of that.
Excuse me. Now, where was your partner at?
So my partner was in what would be considered, I guess, a second bedroom, but the woman didn't have it staged as that. It might have been staged as an office. But so he was in the second bedroom and I was in her bedroom, and separating that as the living room. So we had also checked beforehand if you could see if my eyes were open. So we left the bathroom light on so that anyone standing in the hallway could not see if that I was awake.
Right.
The problem with doing that also diminishes my ability to see that person's face because it becomes more of a silhouette. But we had to do what we had to do. So the second time we did it, the following week, I so bored with laying with my own thoughts, I laid on the couch since we did have a victim that was watching, sleeping, watching TV. That was extremely nerve-wracking. I felt like someone could just slide open the door and grab my foot and drag me out. So nothing happened that night. Didn't feel good about it the whole night. So the third time we did it, I was back in the bedroom. So it was probably 5:30-ish a.m. and Matt had gotten on the radio. We had a car-to-car channel, which was DCI, Division of Criminal Investigation, where the detectives could just talk to each other. No one really monitored it. And he said, just checking on you, making sure you're awake. And I said, yeah, I'm doing okay. And he goes, we're going to catch him tonight. And I said, yeah, why is that? And he goes, well, it's my birthday. And I go, happy birthday. And he goes, he's at the door.
Oh, Jesus. I'm like afraid right now.
And the second, that was the last radio communication.
Between you and Matt O'Neill.
Between me and Matt. I could hear the vertical blinds of the sliding door moving. I was like, it's real. So
he's at the back, not at the front door, but at the back.
Correct.
Sliding
He's
door.
at the back sliding door.
Yep.
And so I had, and I should clarify this as law enforcement. In all of the rapes, none of the victims said that he was armed. And So one of the first things I did too in the kitchen with this woman, I took her butcher block of knives and hid it. That was put away. So I hear the blinds moving, and I roll to my side so I can see the door, and he comes directly to the door. And I remember my thought process. Number one, thinking he's bigger than the victims described. And this is such a woman thing, which is really silly. He was wearing a black sweater, and it had a big snowflake on it. And it was October. And my thought was, well, it's way too early to be wearing a snowflake. I'm not kidding. This is what's going on in my female brain. So he is at the door, and he's looking down the hall. He's looking both ways, and I can see he's fumbling with gloves. And he goes to take a step into the room, and I sit up and I hit him with my flashlight. Simultaneously, my mace. And
when you said hit him, did you hit him with the light, or did you hit him actually with the kind of light?
Good clarification.
Okay.
He wasn't that close. No, I lit him up with the light, and my mace did a wonderful arc and just fell short. The look on his face, though, was priceless, because I do think he soiled himself at this point, and out he goes. And so the foot pursuit's on. Matt's after him. I'm after him, and we're running through the woods.
In your slippers?
Yes, and that's where things got ugly, because slippers and pavement really didn't do well. No. And I took a tumble, and I realized at that point, we've not called out. No one knows what we're doing. So
happy birthday, Matt.
Yeah. So last I see is Matt disappear into the woods, and I run back down to the apartment calling out, emergency traffic, rush traffic, foot pursuit, I'm putting it out. And I'm screaming. I've got a little Irish guy in a hoodie, and, don't kill the detective in the woods. He's in plain clothes. And so
he was the little Irish guy.
O'Neill. He was the little Irish guy. And so they set up, the 4th Precinct did an amazing job. They set up a perimeter, and immediately. And the suspect ran into 2 of our county officers, Mark Tillman. Let me get that right.
Mike Tillman?
No. It was Mark Tillman and Chad Deacon. Little Chad Deacon. And that was an amazing feeling, absolutely amazing feeling. And we had a squad car pick us up because we were so far away from where he was captured. He'd parked behind a veterinary's office. And the officer that picked us up, I had actually gone through the academy with, good dude. And when we got out of the car, I could see the suspect on the hood of the squad car with the lights on, and he's handcuffed. And I remember taking off running and pushing Matt out of my way so I could get to this guy. I was so enraged. Of course,
we'll stop the story there.
We'll stop the story there. I got calmed down. We walked back to the apartment, and I called my supervisor and sang a little song to him, so we got him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Now, how big? What was his actual size?
Shit, I don't know. He was fat. He had gotten fat.
Okay.
Sounds like Dennis Rabbit over the years.
Yeah,
and right around the same time, right?
Yeah,
I
was trying to think that.
That was one of the first things I did in the bureau was read the investigation on Dennis Rabbit, and my God. What an amazing job. Randy, is that the detective?
Randy. Oh, yeah.
Wow. I mean, I remember
thinking,
joke. This is what I want to do. This is who I want to be. So it was a great lesson for me to read that investigation.
That was a great idea that you and Matt came up with to take this female's apartment. I mean, that's...
It ended up, the suspect, he was a lot like Dennis Rabbit, where he was a burglar first and would rape if there was the opportunity. And we actually did a consent to search on his house. He was from Belleville, Illinois. He was very busy. He had like 3 jobs. And his job that night was he was the parking lot cleaner and the street sweeping things. And the nights that he would have a partner call in sick is when he would go and do these burglaries and rapes. So he lived in Belleville. We did a consent to search. His wife was it's hard to remember. She was either Asian or Hispanic, and she spoke very broken English. They had a beautiful little son, and she gave us consent to search, and she told us that he did a lot of garage sales. We walked into the 2-car garage of our suspects, and he had from ceiling to the floor stolen merchandise. He had a little hall you could walk through all of his stolen stuff. And I mean, he stole dogs, lawnmowers, anything you can think of, he stole.
And stole dogs?
Oh, yeah. JJ, I know.
I don't want to hear about that.
They were chipped.
Obviously
How old was
weren't
chipped. God, I don't know. I think he was in his early 30s.
Okay.
So, and he was originally from Boston, Massachusetts. So we had to do some connections with them. And
Who did the interview of him after he was caught? Obviously, you
Tom,
were not in the right state of mind,
I tried, and he just did not want to speak to me. So Rick Will and Pete Morrow.
You made fun of his snowflakes. I wouldn't speak to you either.
So,
cracked you up.
Well, real quick we had a fire brigade, Belleville police chief actually heard us on the radio, St. Louis County calling out one of their houses. I think they decided he wanted to go by. So they were more than helpful. We lined up like a fire brigade and loaded up all these dump trucks, city trucks of the stolen property.
And dogs?
Everything got returned. Everything got put back. Everything was chipped. The dogs were okay. But we were able to find souvenirs, as I'll call them, or trophies from each victim, including the first one with the wine bottle, the woman that was able to escape. He had stolen her driver's license. I think my victim, he stole a Christmas card. It was always something, but we were able to find all that. And
now, did you get to talk to, your victim? I know every case had a different lead detective.
Right.
But tell us when you went to tell your victim that you caught the guy.
That was one of the first things I did. I went home, changed, because I had to go in. I had a hell of a police report to write. And I called her. And no one was up in the offices yet. And that was such an amazing feeling to call her. And I say this, that there was so much that went with the feelings of, with you just saying that you were a victim also. It sounds silly because
you were about to be a victim.
We were law enforcement, hoping and waiting and expecting, a bad guy to come in. And I can tell you, at the time I was married also, my husband was a police officer. I had a hard time sleeping for the first week after that incident.
That had to be.
In my own home. Right. And that I couldn't imagine what these women for the rest of their lives are dealing with and coping with, because my situation was completely different. I was trying to do this.
Right.
And you were still afraid and still had adrenaline going.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy.
Yeah, it was a ton of emotions.
Yeah.
And it was really forward thinking. I could tell you that supervisor, I had a rape at Sioux Passage Park shortly after that. And I said, hey, I'm going to go walk the park. I'm going to do it on duty or off duty, your choice. I had 14 drug detectives sitting in the woods watching me walk this path. I was like, oh my God, there's not a chance in hell I'm going to get raped unless it's by one of them.
Right. Well, and that, I know that apartment complex you're referring to. So when you would, because the county police, where I live 6 miles, I have to drive telegraph for 6 miles. I'll see 3 county officers every single time.
Right.
So in that complex you're talking about, did you tell those officers not to sit on those lots the nights that you were in there?
Well, there's 843 apartments. We did narrow that down. Mm-hmm. I think every single man was buckle swabbed too that lived in those apartments.
Wow. Yeah.
But St. Louis County, I know you guys have all heard about St. Louis City's mobile reserve. St. Louis County's had different versions of mobile reserve, and this time we had the CAT team, which is the community action team.
TAC, but
and they had just started up, and they were very excited about saturating this area and catching themselves a rapist. And we had to tell them, look, one night a week, you need to back off. And so that night we did tell the CAT team to stay away, and we allowed the 4th Precinct, obviously, to know that you got 2 crimes against persons detectives in an apartment.
And I'll say this about the supervisor who made the call for one night a week rather than just constant.
Right.
Might have been a good call. Because if you were in there every night,
it would have been.
I mean, you would have
gone crazy.
You would have
Right.
even gone more crazy.
I had asked for, I guess, earpieces, night vision goggles, and one more detective. And I was told we'd get night vision goggles, and if I wasn't happy with the backup, don't do it. So I was like, okay, well, screw it.
That's the end of that. What was the rapist's name?
His name was Donald Coppage, and he was sentenced to life plus, I think, 75 years. So St. Louis County decided not to charge him with the individual burglaries just because it was so much, but Illinois did. Illinois still charged him with the rapes and all their burglaries.
So life in jail.
And I don't even know what he got sentenced to in Illinois, but they won't get him. He's still in Jeff City.
You charge him with that snowflake sweatshirt in October?
I tell you what, it still bothers me to this day.
It's a misdemeanor at least.
So yeah, that was kind of it. There was a lot to the investigations, a lot of turns and twists.
Well, it sounds like you mentioned like Rick Will and Pete Morrow, and I mean, they got to go interview the guy, but it was you and Matt that really
took the initiative,
I mean,
a creative approach.
I always said Matt O'Neill was an amazing detective. He's the father of 4 girls, so I always said if something ever happened to me,
I got 3, so
yeah, Matt's your guy. So
that's great.
I saw Matt got a Purple Heart for that too.
Yes, he did. He scratched his eye pretty good that day. We both got the meritorious also for it, which was extremely
well deserved.
Thank you.
Great story.
Thank
Great
you.
police work.
Yeah,
Very
brave.
Yeah,
absolutely. So now we're gonna let's go in.
She's getting closer to legend status. Maybe, that's good enough.
I put on pants and left my house.
She showed up with 2 beers.
Her laugh with the legendary status already.
I think we'll go into the.
And producer John.
Yeah,
producer John heard some things about you.
I did. I did my pre-show investigations, and I think Jennifer may have a really good. I thought it was a good idea for this episode.
I'm going to take off with it.
So I'll start by saying I thought it was a good idea to get a sourdough jack.
That's always a good idea. Those are dominant. And those greasy tacos. You know those greasy tacos at Jack in the Box? They passed the sniff test, the quality control. So there was a bunch of smart people in a room and said, this greasy, thin, paper thin thing that's leaking through the paper oil, it's a go.
Yes.
And it's a good taco.
Yes.
Dude.
Especially at midnight
after 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing that tastes better than that.
After a couple of gummies too, I'll eat.
I interrupt you.
So you're talking
sourdough jack.
So you thought it was a good idea to get a sourdough jack. So let's go from there.
So back in the day, I lived in Crestwood, and my house backed up to a private pool. It's not as fancy as you think, and I was a member. I'd taken my son up to the pool. My son was probably 6 or 7 years old. And decided leaving the pool that I would stop by Jack in the Box and get myself a sourdough jack. And as I rounded the corner, I see a Crestwood officer struggling with the suspect. And I would never get involved in shit with my family, but this copper needed help. So I jump out of the car, and when I jump out of the car, I'm wearing nothing but my bikini and my flip-flops. And I yell, off-duty county officer. He just kind of looked at me. I think it threw things off a little bit. But
where did you keep your gun?
Nothing, but...
do you ever wear regular shoes?
Yeah.
Flip-flops?
Not anymore.
Slippers.
Right.
Not anymore.
Okay.
So I jump out. I help him with this. Another Crestwood copper comes flying up, and he says something like, I think he's got an off-duty cop with him. They're confused as shit. I mean, and that's all I say. Get the suspect restrained, and I bolt back into my car. And I get in my car, and my son is sitting with a towel over his head because he's just humiliated that I just jumped out of the car in my swimsuit. So,
wait. Did everything stay in place?
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
And thank God there weren't car cameras. And
how old is your son?
He was 6 or 7 at the time. He was devastated by it.
Just couldn't believe it.
He remembers this too, still this day. So I get my Jack in the Box, and I go back home. And my great friend, who's a school teacher, it's her last day of summer school. So I'm thinking, let's get our drink on. We're sitting at the kitchen table, having a good time, just slamming beers. And all of a sudden, knock, knock, knock on my kitchen door.
Uh-oh.
And I look over, and it's a freaking Crestwood cop standing there. And I go, how'd you find me? He goes, we know where all the cops live. I was like, fuck. So yeah, I had to.
So now you're in that report too?
Yeah. So apparently there was a complaint of excessive force, not
from you.
On my part.
Right.
So I'm half
You had no
led.
weapons. You had nothing.
What did he do?
I have no idea.
Oh.
I didn't want to know anything.
Did you hit him with your flip flops?
No,
Okay.
I didn't.
So
I didn't.
you're-
I swear.
yeah. Okay.
And so I'm like, oh my God, I'm half drunk, and now I have to make a written statement.
Oh, we all know those. We
And
all
so
know those stories.
my girlfriend's doing a good job of keeping the copper kind of occupied as I'm trying to spell words, and like suddenly my brain's not working. I'm like, shit, what did I do? What didn't I do? And he took it and left, and I had to call my captain and tell him that I was involved in a use of force in my swimsuit and
in your bikini.
in my bikini. And the only question he asked me is, or he
Where's
said,
Bosley?
he said, please tell me that you weren't your marked police car. And I said, no, sir, I was in my Ultima, and it was, thank God, because, we do drive
Right.
those when
Yeah.
in situations.
I know all about driving police cars.
The only difference is you wouldn't have written anything.
So-
no, I don't ride nothing.
No.
I think
But I did
that
get banged up in a police car one time.
that Crestwood officer is now a St. Louis County officer because I got approached at our MACTAC, which is the active shooter training, going, hey, I was at your house. And I was like, oh.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I thought it was a good idea to get a,
make an arrest in a bikini,
yeah.
wearing
That's
flip flops.
I thought I skated. I thought I got out of there without them knowing who I was and without.
Do they seize it for evidence?
Like Charles
No.
Angels kind
No, I
of
kept
stuff
that.
right there.
That is, you can't escape
You know?
that.
Well, that's where I got the nickname of Crestwood Jenny because of Afton Cindy, people that know her.
Crestwood Jenny. Okay.
So
I grew up with Afton son. No, she's talking about
Afton Cindy or
That
South
made me
County
laugh.
Cindy's
South County, yeah.
mentally ill
Now
woman.
she's out in South County. I get that, but it just made me laugh.
She's
I mean,
actually now in the
she's-
care of the state, which is awesome
Good,
news.
good. I
But
haven't seen her in a long time.
for those who don't know her, she's in the summer walks around in a bright pink bikini. She's extremely tan with white blonde hair.
Who's this again?
Afton Cindy.
Oh, okay.
She
And
made her way
she
out
usually
to
walks
Oakville.
around like a dead squirrel or something. She's
Shopping cart she was in a shopping cart there in Oakville for a while.
She's pretty famous in the South County area, and
Always
so
had bright. How did she get that bright hair?
she goes and she colors it. She uses the bathrooms
So she
of
was-
banks and
okay.
stuff, and yeah.
I
And
didn't know
so
how she got money.
yeah, I had another little foot pursuit in my swimsuit with my dogs one day. So somewhere along the line, a couple of the guys just started calling me Crestwood Jenny because I was doing weird shit in my swimsuit.
Jenny. Starting Crestwood Jenny.
Crestwood Jenny.
But thank the Crestwood Police Department.
8675309.
I no longer live in the city of Crestwood, so they don't have calls on me anymore. But,
That's a good
yeah,
story.
that was. I thought it was
All
a
right.
good
So
idea.
now, what about your? Before we went on the air, Jen was telling us a story about Joe Burgoon because she just loves Joe Burgoon,
I
as
do
all
love
of our
Joe.
listeners do.
I do love Joe. Joe is the sweetest man alive. So we were in DCI Division Criminal Investigation on that floor. Joe's cold case office was right next to mine, and I was the sergeant in charge of the computer and financial fraud unit. And I had a bowl of candy dish in my office that when people would come in, have some candy. Well, I started noticing that candy would go missing when I'd leave at 5 o'clock. I'd come into an empty candy bowl, and I was like, what the hell is going on with my candy? One of those fat MFers is coming in here and taking my candy.
Doing a little investigation, are
So, like a good cop, I devise a plan, and I go to Tom Naughton, who's tech guy. He was in charge of auto crime, and he had all the fancy hidden cameras and shit. And he set one up in my office and pointed right at the door. And I had rigged a glitter bomb, so to speak, over my door. And every day it was enough for me to squeeze in, so I didn't set off
So
the
you
bomb.
knew the path.
I knew the path.
Okay.
So I would squeeze in, no one touched it, okay, and then I would arm again at night. Well,
Arm again at night.
yeah. So I come in one morning and notice that it's been set off, but there's no glitter. I'm like, what the hell happened? And I pull the video, and the video clearly shows a homicide supervisor open the door, the glitter fall, you see his reaction, and he disappears. The next person you see is Jeff Roediger, who's one of our vice guys. Yep. And he's in the office next to us, and I guess he hears the disturbance or whatever. So you see him come into the video shot, and he starts laughing, and he walks over and he looks at the note that I had in the bowl, which, excuse my French, I think it said something like, keep your dick beaters out of my candy. And you can see he's laughing at the note, and so he walks out of the frame. And then the next thing you see is a vacuum cleaner come around the corner, and there's Joe Burgoon.
Cleaning it up.
Just the awesome. Sweetest little thing, just vacuuming away. And so, yeah, that was why I didn't have glitter in my office. So
St. Louis County, you guys could deploy cameras and glitter for stolen candy, but you couldn't get a camera for the rapist or anything.
That'd be correct, yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Crimes against property was a little more progressive than crimes against persons.
I think it was a vicinity issue. We can set all kinds of stuff up in our own office.
I got you. Just clarify.
Oh, yeah, we had, and persons, we had the bait cars, bait apartments, bait purse. We did the bait purses. That was a lot of fun, getting the purse stolen.
Yeah. You had the glitter bomb squad.
I'm in charge of that.
Yes.
Hey, can we get a shot of her shirt? You see what her shirt says?
What is it?
I'm a delicate effing flower.
There's your camera right
there. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, yeah, we're going to clip that. So,
apologize.
Hey, we really apprappreciate it.
Yeah, we'll probably have to have you back on because there's more stories. But we are.
Well, you got to look
at laugh. That laugh is something that
you got to look at statute limitations. There's some people that are still employed.
No.
Actually, when did you retire? What was your
I retired June 1st of 23.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
With how many years again? 34,
33.
Right?
Are you doing anything else, or you just...
I do a lot of solo camping.
No work, though.
I actually am helping a buddy out, Gabe Crocker in the Crocker Law Firm. I do a lot of admin stuff for him. And that's been nice to keep my brain kind of working still. Yeah. But no, a lot of camping and cannabis. The next week's going to be nice.
Camping and cannabis.
Do you know Tom very well?
Yeah, I'm down with the camp. I'm down with the cannabis. Not so much the
cannabis.
Motel 6 is rough for him.
It is. I absolutely.
I need cable and all this good stuff that comes with it.
Oh no, I love being in the middle of nowhere with nothing. So,
where's your favorite place to go?
I do a hip camp thing, so I just do random spots.
Oh, wow.
But so far, if I can get on a riverbed, that's my favorite. I love being on.
Danny's a big camper. You go to Colorado a lot. You and your wife, right? Denise?
Yeah, we do a lot. Yeah, we just.
And my daughter made me do the Life 360 or whatever. I think she's convinced I'm gonna fall and break my hip or something.
Need one,
She's never worried about me on the job, but now that I'm out in the woods, suddenly I'm gonna die.
So how long did you have? Your daughter was on the same amount as you, and she graduated from the academy.
The last 10 years,
yeah. Okay, so
yeah, she was in the Afton precinct, Wildwood precinct, and she's in the North County precinct now. So she started out in security.
All our thoughts are with her and safety and all that good stuff that comes with it. And I'm sure you're very, as you said, you're very proud of her.
You know how people make money being hand models and feet model and eye models and Tiffus's model?
Right.
Laugh model. She could be a laugh model, make a ton of money with that laugh.
I think I heard this laugh on Seinfeld. There's a Seinfeld laugh that there's some episode where that laugh is on that show.
I probably do the same dance that.
You could make some money with that laugh there.
You could dance now.
That's good stuff. Hey, thanks for coming out.
This was a great segment. We thank you so much for your time.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you. It was an honor.
JJ finally hit a home run. And
got you in here. And
and your sponsor,
Emily Gillian. Thank you, Sergeant Emily Gillian. Yep. She's a very good friend.
Emily's a sergeant now?
She is. She's been a sergeant for quite a few years now. Yeah. Her husband's a sergeant too, Chris.
Cut that out. I act like I knew that.
Yeah, she's actually an amazing supervisor, and she's really good to her people and takes good care of them. So
good for her.
That's
awesome. You'd be open to coming back sometime, huh?
Absolutely. I don't know what we talk about, but
everything that'll be up to us. We just want to hear.
We can put you in the back room and let you laugh at our jokes.
All we're gonna do is tell jokes.
Should be our laugh track. Should be our laugh track.
Oh shit!
That was fun.
All right.
What a great show.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much, John.
I appreciate it.
Thank you,
All right.